Hey, what's up, fellas? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here. Today, I've got a little bit of a cold. You can tell I'm a little stuffy. Today is episode 2 of the Ask AB show. So, what we're doing is we're answering all of your questions, right? I get tons of questions every single day, and I really can't keep up with all of them. I try to make videos for you guys, but instead, we're going to take your Instagram questions and we're going to answer them. So, I'll give you a little shout out. I got them all right here. So I'll give you a little shout out and we'll just go through it. All right, so without further ado, let's just open up my Instagram and check it out. Okay, we'll start off with _CharlieBoyce_. This question, really easy. How do I get faster? Again, we could take a long time to answer this. I'll give you some quick tips, okay? One, a couple things, okay? Strength training I think is really huge. You know, if you get stronger, you're going to get faster. People don't always equate that, right? They think, if I get stronger, I'll be able to hit the ball further, right? Or I'll be able to throw the ball harder. You'll also get faster, all right? And so there's plenty of workouts out there. Again, people always ask me to send them a workout. There's plenty of workouts if you go online. But if you can get a really good strength program, you can definitely, without a doubt, get faster. If you can apply more force to the ground by getting stronger, you'll run faster. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, you know, also look at your running mechanics. Again, I'm not an expert on running mechanics, but there's plenty of people out there that are. So check out how you're running. So just like with anything, your swing or your throw or whatever, if mechanically you're not doing it right, you're not going to be able to run as fast as you really can. So check that out. And the third thing is, and this is the easiest one, is just run, right? So if you're trying to get faster, then run more, right? Just like if you're trying to be a better hitter, hitting more is always a good thing. If you're trying to throw faster, throwing more is a good thing, right? You got to be able to work on the actual movement if you want to get better at it. Now, you kind of want to combine all three of those, because if you just run and you're running properly, you might get a little faster, but you won't make the gains that you really need. So if you can put kind of all three of those things together, I think you'll really start to see your speed go up. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Ryan_Gibson asks, what's your personal experiences between high school and travel ball? Okay, I'm a high school coach and a travel ball, and I own my own travel ball program. And so, you know, I think they're both extremely important. I think high school has in a lot of players' mind is diminished compared to where it used to be. People don't think high school baseball is important anymore. They think it's all about travel ball. For me, I think there's a ton of development that goes on with high school ball. Plus, it's really fun, okay? So, yeah, you might not get recruited as much in high school, but it's still really important. And from a recruiting perspective, you know, as a coach, I recruited in college. Like, we call high school coaches, even though we don't get to go watch a lot of high school games, we still call high school coaches because, here's another question I just got here while I'm talking. We'll answer that later. As a high school coach, you see your players play every single day. You know your players better than a summer ball coach, right? As a high school coach, you see them every single day for like two and a half months. And so it's a really valuable resource for a college coach to call your high school coach and say, hey, what kind of kid is this? What kind of work ethic does he have? You know, what's he like? All this stuff that a summer ball coach, they see you a lot, but they don't see you like a high school coach does. And a high school coach will see you for multiple years usually. So I think high school baseball is great. Remember, it's about having fun also. Like high school baseball for me was a ton of fun, right? Being able to compete for whether it's a league championship or, you know, a state championship. Yeah, travel ball, you get tournaments and all that stuff, but high school ball, you're with the same group of guys every single year. It's just a lot of fun. Some players get wrapped up in like it's all about recruiting and that's it. Like recruiting is a big part of it, but enjoy where you're at. Like have fun where you're at. That's the whole idea of it, is like where your feet are, be present, have fun with it. Don't always just worry about like college, right? I got freshmen, I got 8th graders that like don't even talk to me about high school. They're just like, yeah, I want to go to college. Like we got 5 years, bro. Like so, and travel ball obviously I think is really important as far as, again, developing, playing really good competition, seeing what's out there other than just your small town or your area, being able to get recruited, being able to get in front of college coaches, I think are obviously really important. So I'm a huge fan of both. I think you have to blend both of them together. They're both really important. Use both of them to your advantage. Okay, so next question is _JordanKramer_. He says, how do I create faster bat speed? This is probably my #1 question I get. Everyone just says, how do I get better bat speed? Okay, bat speed, it's kind of like the running question. It's There's a bunch of different things. So the most important thing, right? And people always say, "Oh, get bigger and stronger and faster, more explosive and powerful," and all that. Without a doubt, your bat speed will improve if you work on all those things, okay? But aside from that, the biggest thing for me is how your body works throughout the swing, okay? So it's technically driven, it's mechanically driven. You want to have a mechanical advantage for how you move your body and not just rely on how big and strong you are. Because if you're not big and strong, you can't just say, well, you know, if that was the case, everyone would just go in the weight room all day long and they'd never practice their swing. So I've seen big, huge, strong guys that have really poor swings and they can't hit a lick. And I've seen smaller guys that aren't super strong in the weight room, but they can really hit because they know how to use their body and they know how to sequence their swing properly. And so that's the most important part. And so, you know, there's no quick answer. There's nothing I can say that says, oh, just do this and you're going to swing faster. There's a bunch of different things. Again, the reason we have our YouTube channel is to help with that. So go to our hitting playlist and just start looking through all the things. We talk about like the main principles of the swing that we think are really important to improve both bat speed and bat path, two of the most important things, and also bat quickness. And start to kind of piece it together there. If you want me to look at your swing, you can email me, matt@antonnibaseball.com. I don't have a ton of time, but we do video analysis, so I can kind of hook you up with that. So hopefully that helps you out. Next question is from LA_4_LAF3. Okay? He says, I've always been told to be aggressive at the plate, but also to be patient. When do I know if I'm being too aggressive or too patient and selective? This is a really interesting question. Aggressive and patient used together is like, so every team I played for in professional baseball would always use those two terms in some way. Like some teams would say, we're going to be aggressively patient. And then another team would say, we're going to be patiently aggressive, right? They'd switch the words and think it was this really big thing. So I think, you know, anytime you're hitting, those two terms are going to go together, right? You have to be aggressive, but you can't just be aggressive, right? You can't just swing at everything. You can't just be patient and not swing at anything, although that's how I was at some points in my career. You have to blend them two together. Now, how much you blend, and if are you more aggressive or more patient? That's the question. So here's the approach that I would say. Listen, the number one thing is you got to get your pitch to hit. You got to get a good pitch to hit, right? And so you can be the best here in the world with the best swing mechanics, but if you don't get a good pitch to hit, you're not going to be really successful, okay? So you've got to get a good pitch to hit. Now, what is a good pitch to hit? It's going to depend on a bunch of different things, right? Your strengths as a hitter, the situation in the game, the pitcher's tendencies, right? You're going to blend all those together. But let's just stick with kind of your ability as a hitter. You know, what we tell most hitters, you want to look for a fastball early in the count, when you're ahead in the count, middle chunk of the plate, try to drive it to the big part of the field. That's as simple as you can get, okay? Without being able to, without knowing anything about you as a hitter. So if you stick with that approach, right, when you're in positive counts, and not just look for the absolute perfect pitch every single time, right, but look middle chunk of the plate, right? If it's on the corners, if it's outer edge or inner part of the plate, take it, let it go, right? Wait for that pitch, middle chunk of the plate, and put a swing on it. I think that'll help you be patient, right? Get a good pitch to hit, but also not be so fine that you're looking for this perfect little pitch. That's where guys get in trouble sometimes. They look for this perfect pitch, and if it's not there, they don't swing until 2 strikes. And then by 2 strikes, it's really tough to swing with 2 strikes, right, and to hit with 2 strikes. So that would be my approach as far as keeping you patient but also aggressive. And then the aggressive part of it then is to anticipate getting that pitch. Not just looking for that pitch, but anticipating it, thinking you're going to get it, and be prepared to hit. So we talked to our hitters about having a yes, yes, no approach. So I'm getting prepared, and I'm anticipating that pitch, and all I have to think is stop, like don't swing, okay? So I'm thinking swing until the ball tells me no. So I'm thinking yes, yes, yes as I'm getting prepared. So I'm aggressive, right? I'm looking for my pitch, but I'm aggressive. And then if the ball's not there, I'm going to go yes, 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 no, it's not there. So I just tell myself no. That helps me be aggressive, but to my pitch. So that's the blending of the patient and the aggressive. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'll answer one more for him, since he just asked me another question. This will be the last question of today's episode. Question is, what's the best way to work out of a slump? Now, a slump could be caused by a bunch of different things, okay? So I usually tell players when they're struggling, look at 3 things. First, look at pitch selection. Are you swinging at good pitches? If you're swinging at bad pitches, you're not going to hit. So sometimes guys swing at pitches all over the place and they come back after a few at-bats and say, I'm in a slump. Well, you're not in a slump, you're just not getting good pitches to hit. So that goes back to the patiently aggressive question you just asked. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is look at your timing. Are you prepared to hit? Are you on time, right? So that goes back to the on-deck circle. That goes back to making sure that we're studying the game. When do we want to get our foot up, right? I've got to get my foot down when the ball's about halfway to the plate. Like some guys think that they have to put their foot down before the pitcher even releases the ball. Like most players don't do that. If you watch most players, their foot's going to land when the ball's approximately halfway to the plate or so. So I got to know, when do I get my foot up? All right, so look at your timing. Are you really late? Right? Do you feel like the ball's on top of you all the time? You're fouling everything off to the opposite field. You're fouling everything back. I'm probably not on time. I'm probably not getting ready on time. So I got to get my foot up a little bit earlier. So I get that done on the on-deck circle, but I'm also adjusting pitch to pitch during the at-bat. Like if I feel like I'm really late, I got to tell myself, all right, I got to get my foot up earlier. So instead of getting my foot up off the ground when this guy is, when the arm's coming up to the top, maybe when he breaks his hand, I start to get my foot up. All right, so it depends a little bit on your stride. Do you have a leg kick or a toe tap, all that stuff, okay? But just look at the timing part of it. Make sure you're on time. You might be too early, too. You might be someone that's putting their foot down so early that all your momentum is dead, and then you feel really stagnant and you feel mechanical. So you could also be too early. So just work on your timing. Look at timing. And then the third thing is mechanics. All right, that's the third thing that I go to. Now, the mechanical part, very often it is mechanics, right? But you may not know that, right? So not every player knows everything there is to know about mechanics, and you may not know your swing well. So this is where you have to find somebody, a coach or someone that you can go to that can help you, whether it's sending video or someone that's there that's watching you. Again, it's not always easy, and you could ask 100 different people and get 100 different suggestions for your swing mechanics. But it's important to find somebody that can really help you. And again, I'll leave that up to you. I'm more than willing to help guys, but obviously I get a lot of stuff. So if you send me your swing, I can work with you. We can do online lessons and stuff like that. But I do get like a billion swings a day. So it's typically one of those three things. Okay, so look at those three things. That'll help you kind of figure it out. A quick tip, if you can't figure it out that way, is just simplify things again. I always talk about guys like thinking about staying over the plate, thinking middle of the plate, driving the ball to the middle of the field. Okay, that's about as simple as you can get. Like some guys get in slumps and then all of a sudden they try to do too much. They try to get their last 10 at-bats back by hitting one home run. Like that's not going to help you, okay? So stay over the plate, think middle of the field, think middle of the plate. That'll at least get you back into thinking a little bit more simply instead of sometimes guys, like I said, just try to do too much and they, it's tough. I know, I've been there when you go 0 for 10, 0 for 20, right? You try to get everything back in one swing. I'm just pulling off everything. Excuse me. So if you simplify it, just hit a line drive right through the pitcher's head, right? That sometimes will help guys get back on track. So that's all the questions I've got time for today. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Thank you for sending in your questions. I really appreciate it. Keep sending them into Instagram at Antonelli Baseball. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video with all your friends. Give us a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Check out the description box below. We've got a bunch of stuff going on there for you guys that I think you will enjoy. We've got our plate crate deal. We get 50% off. We've got some other recommendations. Check that out. And that's all I got, guys. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.